Good evening, crafting friends. I'm Dorene Decibus from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to Simply Stamping Sunday. Very happy that you're able to join me tonight for our final week of the Softly Sophisticated stamp set presentation. So I am excited about that. I also have some show and tell tonight from the card play retreat that I attended yesterday. And here's one of the tricks I learned from the event: to use a piece of vellum to block out your light. I think that's so cool. So we won't have to deal with that dreary light as we're going through tonight's presentation. So as I said yesterday, I attended a card, it was called the Card Play Retreat, and the bundle that we were using for most of the projects was the perennial lavender suite. And so the first 8 cards I have to show you are from that suite, and then every presenter presented another 2 other suites, and I haven't finished all the cards, but I have a couple done. But here is the first one. I changed them all a little bit. I used a different saying on here, so I used a bigger postage, the perennial postage dies. So I didn't mount it on a piece of Moody Mauve, and I also stamped more on the background. I liked it all filled out. And I don't know if you can see if I get up really close. We, just a little bit. We used our paper trimmer to emboss for 3 lines going across the front at an inch apart, just to give it a little bit of texture. So that is my first card. My second card, we again used the perennial postage dies and very little stamping, just the verse and the butterflies. And we did that in eggplant. And then here's the inside of the card, which I think is just as pretty as the outside of the card. On this card, I actually used some different colors for the ink, more to match the cardstock. But this is a fun open card, which when you see the inside, let me get the whole card, it's a long card. So we have designer series paper at the top, our greeting right here in the middle, and then we can see our greeting from that we can see in the front on the inside with more designer series paper. So that was a really cool card to make. This card was a fun fold, and I don't know if you can see, but we put Wink of Stella on all the butterflies, and I don't think you can see it, but they just shimmer in real life. So again, opening it up, so cute, but really making the most of our designer series paper. Here's another one. No Wink of Stella on the butterfly this time, but I used the blending brush to color in some Highland Heather to add to this card. So just big hugs. I know you will get through this. This is an envelope fold card. I actually did an envelope fold on Fun Fold Friday one night, and it wasn't like this. This is more like a faux envelope fold. So you can see how that opens up. Hide that envelope flap right under the label. This one, the technique that we used, when I inked up my block with the Gorgeous Grape, we were to spritz it as many times with water as we want it to get more of a watercolor look. And I don't like that all together blended, so I only spritzed it once. And if I get up close, you can see that there is some blurring of the lines in some of the places and on the stem too. But like I said, I just didn't want to spritz it a whole bunch of times. And I didn't do anything yet on the inside of this card. And then we had a fun fold. Again, I took the blending brush and used Highland Heather on, and when it opens up, it looks like this. So kind of a fun fold. One of the other presentations was using the Enduring Beauty set with the masks. And I really, sometimes for me to do something less, I have to almost have permission. And it never thought of me to just lightly blend two different colors, one for the leaves and one for the flowers, and not use the accent pieces. And so that's what I did, and I love the softness of this card. So it just has a blank inside. This card is an easel fold, so I did color everything in on this. And then when you open it up, whoops, let's have it the right way. When you open it up, then you can see the inside, and the card is going to stand and be held up by the greeting. So you get this beautiful little easel card. And then the last card, this was a paper folding technique, and I didn't have the stamp set for it. They were using the Lily stamp sets from the mini. So I used the Designer Series paper, the Flight and Airy, and I cut out one of the birds with the flowers. And you fold back a corner, and that reveals the center of the paper peacock. But when I put the bird down, it was just too close to the paper, and it didn't look right. So I took the smallest square perennial postage die, and cut it up and double dimensioned it, and had this so it was up a bit. And I like that a lot better. So a cool thing you can do with your Designer Series paper. And on the inside, I just cut out another bird and florals, the flowers to put inside. So that's my sneak peek. As I finish the other cards from the day, I will share those as we go along. And of course, they'll end up on my Facebook page as a card of the day. So tonight we are going to be using the Softly Sophisticated stamp set. This is week 4, so it's our last week. And I am going to be using this stamp in the Heartfelt Hexagon for one of the cards. So I have that out as well. All right, let's get started. Let me show you the first card we're going to be making tonight. And it is this card here. So pretty. I like the dark and the light colors that we're using in this. So we're using Crushed Curry, Shaded Spruce, Calypso Coral, and Soft Seafoam. So let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to, on my scrap of Soft Seafoam, using the Shaded Spruce ink. So this is just a scrap. I am going to stamp the frame. There we go. That's all we need that stamp for. And then I am going to stamp the greeting, I really appreciate you, right in the center. There we go. And we're done for a moment with that ink. And then I'm going to just take my paper snips and I'm going to put this out. Now there is a punch that goes with this bundle with the Heartfelt Hexagons, but with Simply Stamping Sunday, if you remember my kind of philosophy with that, is we're just using ink, paper, and stamps, getting right back to basics. So I am using stamps that if I need something cut out, that it's easy to cut out. And you can see this shape, of course, is very easy to cut out. So there we go. We have that piece all done. So for supplies tonight, I'm going to need a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 soft seafoam cardstock. Let me just make sure I'm still alive. Okay. Let me just make sure all the internet's up and running. Well, I hope the storm is not getting in our way. So it's looking a little frozen to me. Hopefully it is not frozen for you. So let me just get back onto Facebook and see if that's the case. So like I said, I have a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock, and I am, that's our base. And then I have a piece of 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, which is just going to go right onto our background here. And I'll put that on when I do this. And I am going to do some stamping. And so what I want to think about is almost stamping. I would put my label right here in the middle. So let's start with stamping 3 of the larger leafed leaves, vine. And I'm going to just, like I said, make this in like a circle. And when you're stamping or crafting, things in groups of 3 work well. So with each of these, I am going to have it in groups of 3. And then what I'm going to do, so we'll trade out for our Calypso Coral. I am going to stamp the flowers that go with this. So remember, you don't have to mark down any of the measurements. I am going to post the measurements for both cards tonight after the live. So it will be in the comments for you. And then you'll have what you need to recreate these cards. There we go. That part is done. Now we are going to take the other vine, which is the finer one, smaller leaves, and I am going to stamp 3 of these around, and I'm going to go right in between, and it might be hard to see. I'll bring it up closer. The soft seafoam is a very light color, light green. So hopefully you'll can see it now where it's stamped. And I am going to be using the crushed curry with this. And these smaller flowers. And the crushed curry is a really nice bright yellow. So let me just... There we go for the first one. And we'll come over here. and then down here. There we go. We have everything stamped. So now all we have to do is put the card together. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal, 2-layer piece of basic white, which is 4 by 5 1/4. It is just 1/8 of an inch smaller. So we're just getting that tiny border. And again, I'm going to attach this to the front of the card using the Stampin' Seal as well. There we go, and we'll just get a little bit of that green. And then I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of our hexagon shape. And that is going to go right in the center of our card. I can't believe that this is the last Sunday of January. It has just flown by. And this is going to go in the middle. And there is our first card. Okay, let me set this one aside and show you our second card. And I want to show you an easy way to make a label. So this is our second card, just very simple and pretty elegant. So I have a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 thick basic white. Anytime I'm using basic white as the base of my card, I always use the thick. It just gives it a lot more bang for your money. We're going to use Flirty Flamingo for this one. So let me just get a stamp cleaner or a paper towel or something. Just going to spray a little cleaner on my floral image. We're using the same green. We're just going to use a different color for the flower, and I just want to make sure the stamp is clean. So I have a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 basic white. I am definitely a layer girl and love to have layers on my card, even if it's the same color on top. It just gives it a little bit more interest. And I then have a piece of Flirty Flamingo that measures 2 1/4 by 5 1/4, and I have a piece of the beautiful Flight and Airy Designer Series paper, and it measures 2 by 5 1/4 because it's going to go all the way down. So I'm going to attach this onto the piece of Flirty Flamingo. It is going to touch the edges at the top and the bottom, but it will have a border on each side. So I'm just going to make sure I get the top one lined up and go down straight. And then I am going to place this on the front of my card. What I want you to think about in your card making is that almost all of these cards that I make can be used as a template stamps that you have. So there's the front of the card. It looks really pretty just like that. So then I have a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 2 by 3 1/2. And I'm going to show you a little trick I use to make a different type of tag that's a shape of an octagon, but it's It's just cool. I'll show you how we do it. So I'm going to use the shaded Spruce again. And in the middle of this card, well, towards the upper middle, I guess we could say, I am going to stamp the floral image, the leaves. There we go. And then in the Flirty Flamingo, I am going to stamp the flowers. I really love this set. I just have had so much fun with it. And the fact that it's free with a $100 purchase just makes it so much better. So there we go. We have that. And then I'm going to take the hello there. This is such a perfect greeting for me. I love this greeting. And I'm going to put that right under the flower. There we go. Now, to make my tag. All I have to do is be able to cut one corner off. And I'm going to show you how I get all the other corners the same. So I'm actually going to go to this corner because the greeting is here. So I'm going to cut that corner. And now this is going to be my guide for the rest of my cutting, so that my tag is going to look even the whole way. So now I am going to just cut that. So now I have two sides that are cut perfectly. I'm going to take that and put it over here and line it up to the top and the side. And snip that one away. And then use it one more time at my bottom. I could have just snipped the corners and tried to be even, but this way just assures that my corners are being cut at the same angle, and it's not going to look funny, and I'm not going to be going back and forth trying to even them out. And again, there are this for you. But as I said, it's Simply Stamping Sunday, and I'm trying to show you some other ways. So here we go. Here's my tag, all set and ready to go on the front of my card. So I'm going to use dimensionals again. And add a fifth one to the middle, just so it doesn't, sink in the envelope or in the mail. And I'm just going to overlap this so it's onto the paper and the card. And that, my friends, is our last card for this week and for this month. So let me just grab all the cards we've made this month and take just to remind you of all the fun we've had. So, week 1, we made these 2 cards. Week 2, we did, if you remember, I kind of called this the little black dress of card design, of card making. So we made those 2 cards. And then week 3, we made 3 cards. If you remember, we did this cutting technique that gave you 2 cards out of 1. And we did the technique where you put ink on a block. And then this week, we made these 2 cards. So thank you for joining me this month for Softly Sophisticated. Next month, we are going to use another, we're going to use the Heartfelt Hellos, and we're going to be using the Sunny Days Designer Series paper, and that is also a celebration item. This is a great set because you have Mother's Day, Father's Day. You could use Love You More for Valentine's. We have Easter, we have a generic hello, and an enjoy your day, which could be used for birthdays too. So this is a great stamp set, and we're going to be, as I said, using designer series paper, cardstock, and the stamp set. And so if you have the Sunny Days stamp set, designer series paper, you can make the cards right along with me. But you can use any designer series paper with the cards that I'm going to be showing you. So this is what you can look forward to for the month of February. So thank you for joining me tonight and this month. And I hope you have a great week. And I will see you Friday night for Fun Filled Friday. And of course, next Sunday night for Simply Stamping Sunday. Good night, everybody.